Cody Collier, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Leonard?
I'm doing great. Hey, since the results came out of the Wild Boar round one of the GNCC, I have been so excited to talk with you because you're the link to the inside stories behind all the scoop. And we're going to save the best discussion for last after we get to congratulate everybody and talk about the different things that happen. But I know that you've been a little under the weather. I hope you're feeling better. And don't you race in a couple days?
Oh yeah. No, we've been pushing off this doing this post race report because of my illness. Got a little bronchitis or some type of um chest virus or something. So not had that kindest couple last few days, but we're hanging in there and we'll be ready for it.
Well, that's good. What was the turnout like there at round one?
It was pretty down, honestly, compared to most years. It was supposed to be, if you looked at the weather Monday, I don't think you would have went. No, it was just awful, just rain all week long. I think we're supposed to get like 5 or 6 inches of rain in the 4 or 5 days leading up to the race. So didn't look good. It looked like it was going to be barely above freezing, like 30s, but low 40s. Then race day came around. It didn't rain at all. Saturday was absolutely beautiful for the youth bikes and the AM quads. It started raining a little bit between races and on them at first, but
But
uh,
everybody looked so wet.
yeah, and it was mostly fresh. It got a little bit of rain early in the week, so it had some moisture in the dirt. But it was like um, if you look at youth like later laps in the 10 a.m. race, it was pretty decent for what it was supposed to be, I guess. It was definitely wet, definitely slick. It was a lot better than it was supposed to be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the morning race, Cole Brandt won. I don't know if you know this person, this young man, but is it this his first win?
Yes, sir. I believe so. Yeah, no, I don't know the Brandt family personally, but no, he's been putting in the work. Last year, the last half of the season, he was really battling up front very consistently. So definitely made a big step at the end of the season last year and stepped up to begin 25. And
Well,
then
that's
Garret Cox got second, another front runner from last season, and then Bodie Buckhannon rounded out that podium. Um, don't know if Bodie wasn't really a front runner last year, so it's cool seeing him up front battling. And then Landon Glauda got fourth overall. Him stepping up to the front row, and then Stetson Owens, a front row runner last year, got fifth. Those five were pretty much bumper to bumper all day.
wow.
Stetson seemed to go forward and go backwards and go forward and go backwards, but the rest of the guys were battling pretty heavy. Other than Cole, I think he won by a minute or two. He kind of checked out early and just kept a gap. That 2 through 5 battle was very, very good.
Nice. What's the CC limit on that class?
It's a 150. It's the 150. I think it's like a 105 or 110 for a two-stroke. I'm not sure exactly what it is if you decide to go like a CR85 motor instead of a CRF 150 motor. It's definitely less because of the two-stroke, but
What classes are the 250s running? Or like the Raptor 250s with the 280 kits and things like that?
yeah, they're either running there's like a 250-300 class in the youth now because in the 10 a.m. race they're allowing the um, like the hybrids and the higher level, kids riding the Honda 300X and Raptor 250s instead of running the youth, they can run that. The 250 class in the youth, I think, is more for kids really just getting started. They're 13, 14, 15, have a Raptor 250, 300, Can-Am 250, whatever it might be, and you can still go out and enjoy and ride with people that around their skill level on the bigger machine.
Well, there's a new machine that's coming in the country, that KO 300 fuel injected. It's supposed to rip. So we'll see how it works. And what I'm hearing, I don't know this for a fact, I'm hearing that the Raptor 250 parts bolt onto it.
Interesting.
So maybe we'll see another machine out there, for these kids so that they can ride. That we can hope. Whether it comes from China or Japan, at this point I don't care. We need a new machine, because those Raptor 250s are just wearing out and we're running out of pieces. So It's
And
great.
nobody's producing that mid-size ATV anymore. So
Yeah, what's up, guys? Where are you manufacturers at? Well, KO, here they are. Joe Tall from ATV On Demand. You know Joe, I know Joe. Beat up on him, beat up on him, beat up on him, and they finally brought it into the country. So maybe we'll see something. We'll see something. We're hoping.
yeah, no, hopefully, yeah, hopefully they do a good job with it, and hopefully there's no need for anything else in the market. Hopefully it wakes up a couple other companies and has more people in the market. Uh, don't see nothing but good things. So
Right on. Right on. So let's just jump right into it. You know, um, Pro 4x4, that's obviously your class. I watched some of the videos. You and Brandon look like you guys had quite a little race there for a while. And then Cody, you did your thing and checked out a little. How was the race for the class? And, give us a breakdown on it.
oh, thanks. No, it was good. No golf on the new machine felt good. I haven't, just like always, haven't had to sit on it once before I got to the race. So got there, raced the quad. It was brand new. It was a little tight starting out, but I did rip me and whole shot. Got the whole shot. Me and Frazier kind of battled back and forth going into the woods, but I ended up getting the leads going into the woods. Um, I don't think I ever looked back from there. Once I got the lead, corner forward, once we got in the woods, I just almost flagged the flag, but no, Brand was good. He was there all day. I was a little tight at first. The track with with how slick it was a little tricky, a little limiting at first. So it took a couple laps for the track to develop, but once it did, it got really racy, and last couple laps were really good.
Well, Gavin Jenkins, jumped into the third, and that's one of your stablemates, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, Gavin. Yeah, he lives 20, 30 minutes from here. He's a good buddy of mine, and we talked a good bit on and off during off season. Did a little off season training together, and yeah, started the season off with a podium, second one of his career, and he said it's the first one that he felt like he deserved it and earned it, and he's looking for more.
That's awesome. Mickelson was in fourth, and Wharff was, fifth. So these are names that we talked about last year. So did this battle tighten up? Were there more? Was the racing closer from second back, third back?
Um,
I know you weren't
well,
there, but
me and Frazier were pretty much me and Frazier were pretty close all day. First two laps he was right there. I think end of the third lap started to pull a little bit of a gap on him, and then he ended up hitting a hole, I guess, on the last lap, running pace, and almost blew out a tie rod end, like almost completely pulled it out of socket. So he ended up having to back off pace, and I almost got a 2 minute win on him, I think. But if he would have finished with me like he would have, I beat Gavin third place by 5.5, almost 6 minutes. So that gap's bigger than it typically is. Normally it's around 4 or so, depending on the race. I'd say 4 is kind of the average from
do you think
last year.
do you think that had something to do with the conditions?
Um, if anything, the slicker it keeps it closer. So
Really?
especially early. So the fact that I think we had over a minute on third the first lap, it's kind of crazy to me.
Right, right. How many laps did you guys run?
4. I think we could have done 5. That had no, we did. We did do 5. I'm sorry, we did do 5.
Okay.
We did do 5. Yeah. No, it's been a while. I'm a little sick. Got a little brain mush going on. We did do 5 laps. I really wanted 4 laps. They ended up throwing us that extra lap.
So when did you pit? What lap did you pit on?
Beginning of the third, I guess, soon as I crossed the scoring pylons for the start of the third lap.
Are you worried about the fuel consumption because you did 3 laps?
It's time based. So we finished I think it was just over 2 hour mark.
So you weren't worried about fuel consumption causing an issue?
Not really. It was a little slick. There's a little bit of tire spin going on. But it was kind of a momentum track. It just depends. It's pretty standard. As long as we don't go over 220 in a race, I'm not really worried. We take over a gallon of fuel at pit. We haven't had an issue. We normally end with enough that we haven't wanted to do more yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, it sounds like the pro 4x4 class is off and running, and you and Frazier are going to be duking it out for the whole year. Everything goes the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, it was good. That was good. Should be another good year racing. Looking forward to it, man.
Well, in the WXC, seems like Jessica Elioff is back to her normal spot in the lead and in first. Um, I'm just going to go back and we'll talk about Chloe right off. She didn't get herself up on the box. She dropped back to sixth. I don't know if she had issues. Not sure exactly what happened there.
Yeah, yeah, I heard Chloe got tangled with another rider and ended up snapping her chain.
Oh,
Yeah, so another rider's tagged her from the back and busted a chain just like that.
did she get it repaired or did it end her day?
She ended up getting it repaired. She did 5 laps. Was at the back end of the WXC pack that did 5 laps, but yeah, ended up finishing the day still. Don't know if she had any other issues, but I know that I did hear that happened. That was the main setback.
Wow. Well, Hannah, dropped into the two spot, and Osborne, dropped into the three. Caitlin Osborne seems to be, rolling into where she left off. Avery Collins, is this a new name in the class?
Yes, sir. On 15-year-old out of Florida on a 250 hybrid.
Really? Well, she dropped it. She's in fourth. We're missing a couple of the normal names that are in there. Andrea Rogers seems to be a little farther back down in the order than she normally is. But I'm going to mess this one up. I'm going to go with Emma because I can't say the last name. Sorry about that. Uh, prop,
Props.
props. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's a new name as well, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. She's new to the WXC class, fellow KMK rider. So
All right. All right. So how does that class shaping up to you? I know you race at the same time, but you do hear, through the pits what was going on. How is that class shaping up? Is Jessica just, trained hard and is going to be that dominant again?
yeah, I mean she's been down. She's been down there with the whole BNR crew and her and her husband Alex. They go down there and they do some winter training and yeah, obviously started the season off strong. I'm sure Chloe didn't want that broken chain to get these year started, but I'm looking forward to her and Chloe having some good races and seeing that going down up front. I heard Kate ran second most of the day, and then Hannah was able to get her late. So Kate running that stronger early in the season. I know that her and Jared don't get much riding done up in northern PA. So
Yeah, but you know what? We keep talking about it. Caitlin's a seasoned veteran. I don't think they can turn their back on her. I really don't because she's gonna snap in there and she's probably gonna win a few races this year. So they better watch themselves.
yeah, I don't think she did she get a single win last year?
No.
I don't think so. Or I don't know if she got one, maybe one the year before. So I bet she's pretty thirsty. I think she's getting pretty thirsty. Wants a little drink of champagne. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think she's
I,
hungry.
I'm
Get a good ride. Um, yeah, she's been learning. She's been watching. So
yeah, and she's been around a little bit. So I think that, you know, with the way she's been finishing and the things that I'm hearing through the industry, she's a threat. I just don't think they think she's a threat yet because she hasn't bit them and won the race.
yeah, yeah, no, she's consistent. It's just could you figure out a little? I think it's just a little bit of pace, just having that a little bit of that raw speed, just be able to close down those gaps when you need to. She's super consistent and has a lot of knowledge, makes a lot of good choices out there. Just needs to find a little pace here and there.
Right. Well, Mighty Mouse is freaking, I think, gonna let it loose this year as well. Hannah Hunter, I mean, I'm looking at her to probably put herself on top of the box. So those four ladies, the top four from last year, I think are going to be your top four for the year. Not taking anything away from any of those other ladies, but there's going to be a four-way battle for that championship, in my opinion, for whatever that's worth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, we'll see what happens. No, that's a very competitive class. That Avery Collins getting fourth her first ride. She seems to be young and hungry, and she seems like she'll pick up quick. So, then you got Emma and There's the WXC class is growing. We got a couple new riders in the 4x4 pro class this year, so it's cool to see both of the premier classes in the AM growing.
Yeah, I think GNCC started probably too early. The weather was a factor. You're talking about colder temperatures. I'm just I think that you're going to see a difference in the later rounds. Um, Entries will go right back up. I want them to start in March. Give it a couple more weeks, get some of this bad weather out of the way. Let you guys race where you're normally. You guys got to deal with muck most of the year, anyways. So let's just not make it worse and start you in the wintertime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to keep in mind Racer X is the body that runs GNCC and Pro Moto and the whole Super Motocross series, and we just don't get priority sometimes. We keep getting shifted further and further and further, and sorry, it's going to be snow round 1 and 2 if we're not careful. So I wish you would get a little bit more priority, and not going to get into the politics of the reasons why are pushing us forward and all that, but yeah,
Oh, they
I want to go back to the roots and have good racing when it's time to have racing.
I agree. I always like that series because they started a little later in the year. They ended a little before the end. They kept you guys out of the cold times of the year. That's when GNCC was really raced. So it is what it is. We're not the ones in charge, but we still enjoy it. Um, I think that the series is going to do nothing but grow. Let's drop into XC2. Um, some new names, some old names. You're really going to have to keep me up to speed here. One of the names that I don't see, and you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, is Galata in XC2. What happened?
Yeah,
James?
he don't know if he was just way back or what, but yeah, just not a good day for James. He was there, he was racing, just not a good day for him.
Yes, some of the names in here. Logan Steele was down there, farther down in the order. Tanner Walker. Some of the names that we're used to seeing a little higher up. Dalton Keys, just guys that we had talked about last year, and I expected them to be a little farther up. That being said, we can run up the order farther, and you're talking about Andre Williams. I don't remember that name from last year. You may.
College A rider.
Okay. So he bumped into XC2. He's put himself on the podium right off, and that's pretty great. Elijah, I don't remember that name. Is he a first year
Yeah,
XC2 rider?
yeah, didn't Alex Feynman win, and then Elijah got second, and then wasn't it
Yep. Yep.
Benovsky got third?
Nope. Williams.
Okay. He must have got docked then or something after the fact because Andrew Benovsky did get third at the event.
What's the last name?
Andrew Benovsky. I haven't checked results on it, but that's interesting.
Not. Oh, sorry. Yes, you're correct. He did get third.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I can't see it. I'm old. Sorry, everybody. Just got to forgive me. I'm, you know.
That's
Uh,
what I'm here for. Keep you in check. We're all
Ryan
good.
Williams got fourth.
Oh,
Andrew, you'll have to
I still was able
forgive
to
me.
pull it together in the clutch. But now,
Right. That's why I keep you around. You know that, right?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah,
Um,
no, it was really cool. Alex dominant. He was um, probably had the most pace out of any rider in XC2 last year. Came out swinging round 1, trying to defend that championship. Um, and then Elijah, kind of a wild card. He didn't really do a whole lot last year. Wasn't really on anybody's radar. So come out round 1 and get P2 is great. And then same story for Andrew. He's been around for a while. He's just it's crazy what a whole shot in the lead will do for you, Mr. Andrew. So
right.
yeah,
Right.
he got the whole shot in XC2, and I think he had the lead for the first 2 or 3 laps. So riding really well out front, got a little confidence going. A little Ronnie Rush effect last year at the Mountaineer Run,
Right.
and just yeah, awesome ride, all those guys.
The number of riders seems a little less than normal.
And like I said, it was just, I think it's just because of the, if you looked at the forecast Monday, it was a little scary. I think it turned a lot of people away from even thinking about coming. So we
Really?
walked, me and I ended up walking the track with Branson Soulsby, another 4x4 pro rider, and we were looking at the radar while we were walking the track, and it was a, he said it was a 93% chance to absolutely pour rain all night and kill us. I said it was a 7% chance it was going to be beautiful tomorrow. And and he walked up to me on the starting line. He's like, "You got your 7%, buddy." So
Oh,
it, it somehow ended up being the best it could be with all things considered. So yeah, should have been gnarly.
well, hey, you worked it out, and that positive attitude, got the clear weather. That's pretty good to make that happen. To fight through like that. There's a portion of this XC1 class that I want to talk about, but we're going to roll that in to the later discussion, and I think we're going to have some different opinions, but we're going to have to bring it up and really talk about it because some things happen in that class that um, I definitely have opinions on, and I'm sure you have an opinion on, and there's other people that have opinions on it. But John Galata Jr. moved himself farther up into the results. Normally, he's a little farther back. Um, Healthy, getting there. I believe he's got a new sponsor, so maybe he's working some things out there. Jared McClure, he was a solid seventh. Um, so we're looking at these guys doing well that we talk about. Grayson Eller, was 11th his first race. Grayson, you're doing great. Keep it up. Um, do you know who Jay Shadron is?
Yeah, the old J Shad. Yeah, he's a former XC1 pro. He walked away from the sport for a little bit, came back, raced XC2 for a year, got the championship there. Now he's back as the XC1 rider.
Okay. Well, I apologize, Jay. Didn't see your name. Didn't don't remember seeing your name. Braden Owens, took up the final spot in the XC1 class. I know we've talked about him before. So the mix mash, I think probably some of the conditions moved some of these guys around, or maybe they weren't ready. Um, Not really sure, what your take is on that with
Yeah.
some of the guys.
No, I think every single one of those guys in XC1 was ready. Whether they second guess themselves now on race day on a couple decisions, made a couple mistakes, couple bikes up thing. It's probably just a couple rider errors more than anything. Maybe just bad vibes that morning. When it's not your day, it's not your day. Sometimes I think it's kind of what you see now. Ronnie and Brandon Owens just not their day. You'll have that sometimes. And everybody else was very on, and that's the hard part in the XC1 class. If you're not 99% on, the guy beside you is, and that's what's
Right.
hard about that XC1 class.
Well, there's
You
close,
get
man.
15th next to the top 14 of 20 top ATV riders in the world. So it looks bad on paper, but it is really hard at that level when you're an 8th through 12th place guy and you have a bad day. It's 13, 14. When you're when you're a podium guy, that 3 through 5 spot and you have a bad day, that's more like a 7th, 8th.
Right,
So,
right.
and if we have a real bad day, you'll end up back at that 14th, 15th because that 8 through 12 pack is real hungry too. So
Exactly. So, guys that we've talked about, Hunter Hart last year, he had some roughness going on. He pulled in the fourth. Stephen Harrell, former XC2 champion, he jumped into the fifth spot. Josh Merritt took sixth. Those guys were all fighting for positions throughout the day. Was Harrell farther up in the result or in the order and move back, or did he just run in that area the whole day?
I think Harold and Hunter kind of charged from the back. Um,
Okay.
I know Abney got whole shot. Fowler's right there with him. Bryson had to work his way from the back of the pack. Um, Hunter and Harold. I think Harold ran down Hunter, but Hunter was also having to work up through the pack.
Okay.
Up front early, he was dropping back. All I can remember off the top of my head.
Well, you know what? Let's take our hats off and Abney, with a whole shot, with the lead, getting on the podium. I mean, that guy works harder than most people do because every day I see new videos all the time. He's building bikes. He's working hard. I mean, the guy's on fire. Uh, he should be up on the podium for as much as he rides and races. So I'm glad to see him on the podium. He's been on the show before. Really nice young man. It's good to see him finally getting some iron to go on his mantle.
Yeah, no, for sure. He's been working at it for a while. No, I think this podium has been the last several years of work finally put together in one good slick race for him. I think the conditions perfectly fit his riding style. He got up front early. Him and Walker kind of broke away from the pack, and he was able to run Walker's pace for a little bit. And yeah, just put himself in a good spot early. And Hunter and Harold came. I think Hunter was half a second off of Abney, and then Harold was like a second behind Hunter. So uh, they ended up putting pressure on him in the end, but he held strong. So hopefully, now he has a taste of it, knows what it takes to be up front.
Well, you've explained this to us, the guys on the side, the fans and the other riders and people that are listening to the show about riding in the front. It's not something that the first time you do it, you're okay with it because you exert too much energy, you get too excited, you're not used to running that pace the whole time, so it throws you off. And, Austin was probably super excited when he got the whole shot and then running up front with Walker. He probably burned a little more energy in the beginning part of that race than he normally would have.
Yeah, for sure. But again, the track was kind of limiting. Just with how slick and wet it was very limiting in some spots. So like you couldn't like attack the track as much as you wanted to. There was definitely it was the track was kind as far as having to override it.
Right. If you overrode it, you ended up in the ditch.
You're tipping, you're making mistakes, you're skating. I'm no Walker Fowler. I'm sure that they were doing a lot better at it than I was on my big 1,000-pound pig, but it was definitely limiting for me, and I know that carries over very well.
Right. So, Bryson Neal, three-time champ, started off the season in second. He hasn't done that in a number of years, especially to this man, the seven-time champ, former champ in Walker Fowler. Nobody predicted this, that he would come out. I did hear a rumor that some of the factory Yamaha guys that know Walker said that they hadn't seen him this hungry or in this good a shape in years.
Yeah, no, both him and Abney started doing the Levi Cohen and the Outlier Performance team. Wyatt Woken and Josh Merritt, what they were on last year. I'm on it this year. Levi's a good buddy of mine from pretty much my whole childhood. Me and Levi have known each other, so he's got a really good thing going on. Been in the sport his whole life, so he knows pretty much exactly where you're at and what talks to you and figures out where you're at and exactly what you need to become the racer you need to be. So has a really good program, knows what to do and how to work with you. Got Abney his first podium, like you're saying, exerting all that energy early. He's got a good training program now. Same with Walker. Best shape of his life, as Yamaha execs were saying, just working with Levi. I could have done another 2 hours after my race Saturday at that pace I was doing. I felt great. So he's got a really good thing going there. But I think Bryson made up almost a minute on Walker on that last lap once he got some free air.
Do you think Walker had just paced himself, or do you think it was just Bryson being faster?
I don't think Walker let off the gas by a minute, but um, a minute's big on one lap. So don't know if Walker has some issues, but a minute is a big statement. So I'm interested to see if Walker got that comfortable gap, and it's something he's going to be able to maintain. Or
How big is the gap at the end?
I think it was like 30 seconds,
Okay.
30, 45. I can't remember the splits off the top of my head, but it felt like 30, 45 in person.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, all this did is make it more exciting.
Yes. Yeah.
Mixing up the podium with Walker and Bryson. All of us knew that those two guys were going to come out throwing haymakers. Neil had to fight from the back, which benefited, Walker and, Abney jumping in there. Nobody saw that coming, which were great that it finally did happen. Here's the portion of the race that we need to talk about, and you'll know exactly where I'm going to go, I'm sure. The videos have been all over the internet. There's been a lot of people making a lot of comments. Um, Josh Merritt and the Gator Adam McGill had a dust up and
Incident.
an incident, you know. I'm going to just tell you right off the bat, I totally believe they should not have disqualified um, Adam.
Well, for the viewers, if you would like to walk through the situation as you were doing so well.
Okay, well, so let's just go there then. Close to the finish, there's a left-hand turn. Adam took the outside line to set up to drive around the berm because it was so slick. Josh was close enough to drive it into the turn. The problem is in those conditions, he never was going to make the turn. He was going to have to use the berm to catch him and probably two wheel to keep it on the course, even if Adam wasn't going to be there. Well, Adam just happened to be there and catch him, and it took them both off course. Not a lot, but enough. Um, I don't think it was an intentional move. I think it was a racing move. Is it a cross country normal move? I don't know. You'd have to answer that question for me. Am I upset by it? Not really. Um, because he didn't intentionally want them to wreck. He thought he could pull it off. Every racer that's ever raced has done this at some point in time in their career, whether at pro or XC2 or their first year as a youth rider. It happens to everybody. Am I wrong?
Uh, Boy, as far as making the move, going for a pass like that,
Yeah.
I think you have to be to get to a certain level or to even get comfortable making a move like that. So I don't think that's going to be for like your C riders unless they're out of control. I think a C riders most of the time going to be out of control, right? But I think your
Yeah.
professionals can make that kind of move with precision.
Yeah, and in the conditions didn't allow for it to be precise.
And yeah, and I could see how people could see that. But I'm a former XC1 pro. I raced against all those guys for a long time. I got my pedigree with everything. And from my eyes, Josh could have turned on the brakes at any point that he wanted to and chosen not to make contact. If you go back and watch the video, the moment he initiates the actual slide, he could have also pumped the brakes and never made contact with Adam. Then when he initiates that slide, he knew exactly what he was doing. He was going for that block pass. It wasn't a clean move, right? Clean means no contact. But it wasn't malicious. It wasn't dirty. It was a good block pass for a sixth place position in a professional event. So to me,
so the block pass is totally legal in every form of racing.
yes.
Okay, unless you're racing in Europe, because those guys are weenies. Did I say that out loud? Oh, sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe he thought that it was going to be clean.
I think it
could have misjudged it.
I think he misjudged. I think the only thing that made the pass look bad was how much Josh kicked. I think if Josh would have been able to dump the clutch off of it and stayed planted and stayed moving, he would have pulled right out of it. I think it's the fact that he tipped and kind of lost his balance is the only thing that makes it look bad. And McGill doesn't even hardly go off track. He maybe gets a quad lip off track where he kind of just gets pushed from Josh's tip. Right. Contact, I don't think it was any type of hard. Adam's hands didn't even come off the bars until Adam wanted his hands to come off the bars.
Correct.
So I don't think it was malicious. I think Josh was in total control. I think Josh meant to hit Adam exactly that hard. I think Josh knew that amount of contact would not put either of them in any amount of harm. I think that was a beautiful racing move by a professional.
So the next portion of the question is the finish line bump, smash, whatever you want to call it, which I don't think that portion was a problem. You see guys bump each other all the time at the finish line, when they're heated. Getting off the machine was the problem, the bad sportsmanship, in my opinion. I just think disqualification was a little aggressive. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, you gotta set boundaries and stuff, and they're trying to make GNCC big, and they've got a couple people in GNCC that are a little bit too PC. But I've been told that all contact is violence more than once. So
whoever told you that's a freaking sissy ass piece of beep 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 beep.
Oh yeah, we love him. We love him. Yeah.
Rubbin's racing, dude. You need to quit that job because you do not belong there.
Yeah, no. He's yeah. There's a bunch of stuff I've dealt with the GNCC in the past with just where a lapper stalled it in front of me and I've gotten in the back of them and somebody's written a letter in from a GoPro they watched of mine and said I was too aggressive and I made their little kid that's never raced afraid to go racing because they thought I would accidentally run into them. So he approached. They told me I'm such lappers. So I hate that that's the way culture has shifted in ways. And then I see the way people are freaked out about this Josh Merritt incident. And I just don't want the culture of cross-country racing going soft.
Well, you look at the culture, we're going to go a little political here for a moment. The culture across the country has gotten soft. Rubbin is racing to a point. Blatant takeouts are an issue. I do not believe that Josh Merritt meant to take him out. And I'm going to use Josh's words. He was cleared by the governing body. Okay. Great. Adam probably would have been taken to the trailer and yelled at for running into him at the end, but he carried it too far. That's why they DQ'd him. I just think that was just too much. You're dealing with professional racers that are racing for money. They're going to get a little heated. Granted, take him to the trailer. Is this his first incident or his 20th? I don't ever remember Adam McGill taking a swing at anybody. If I'm wrong, somebody please tell me.
Yeah, never on live TV, that's for sure. So I think I was on live TV. So GNCC trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe DQing him wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe, dock him some points, however they want to do it, that doesn't affect his position at the end of the year because of an altercation from a race. That seems unfortunate, long-term looking back, but
the long-term effect for the sponsors is what I'm talking about.
That not the points, but the sponsors, no such thing as bad publicity at the same time, right? All those sponsors are getting a lot of publicity from those 0 points. So
there's a lot of people that are bashing Josh and are not bashing Adam, and I don't agree with that. You cannot bash Josh. Josh did not force Adam to throw the punch, and Josh, whether you clean or not clean, that doesn't matter.
So, do you know how GNCC got their verdicts? How they with Josh 0 penalty, you're clean. They brought in
probably by that DEI hire guy.
They brought in a handful of the bike pros and told them to watch the video and ask them if it was a clean move or not, and if they would, what they thought of the move. And every single one of them said it was a good racing move, and that's why Josh did not get any penalty. And then GNCC chose to handle the Adams situation how they chose to handle it, but they let Josh go because they trusted the bike rider judgment.
How do you argue with that? They took professional pros, right?
Yeah.
They took
pro perspective of pros racing pros. Stop saying, what if somebody did this to your kid? Josh isn't doing that to a kid. Josh is doing that to another grown man, the top pilots in the world competing. To me, that's beautiful racing.
And kids do that shit at school every day when they bounce you into a set of lockers or into the wall. So parents, toughen up, man. You're being helicopter parents and you're developing a bunch of little sissies. The world is rough and tough, and you got to make them tough.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, just raise happy, healthy kids. Just no nonsense. You know what's right. You know what's right. Ain't that hard.
You
But
know, I like Josh a lot. I like Adam a lot. I wish Adam would not have done that. Um, I hope there's not repercussions from GNCC. I hope GNCC does not have repercussions because they disqualified him, because I could see that happening. I could see his fan base is so large. I could see them being pissed off enough to cause an issue.
yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised, and it's unfortunate, but you can't control some of your crazy fans sometimes. Yeah,
It's not Adam's.
hopefully nobody does nothing to get him hurt or whatever. I think yeah.
Hey, it's
I don't
not
know.
Adam's fault if somebody, says something bad about dude, I have nothing to lose by saying anything about the GNCC people. They won't even sit down and have an interview with me. So what do I care? Bring this man on that this DEI hire guy that they have working in the GNCC deal that knows nothing about racing. Have him sit down and talk to a racer, because this guy's clueless, totally clueless. You're doing what NASCAR's doing. You're destroying the sport.
It's yeah, no, it's yeah, they got their advisors, they got the people, they run the way they want to run things, and they got the culture that they're trying to create, and that's part of the culture they want to create. So that they'll make right calls and right calls, wrong calls along the way, but
But that's not racing.
it's it's not cross country racing from the 80s. That's not what GNCC is trying to be anymore in my eyes. They're trying to be the racing of the future. They want anybody to be able to get off their couch and come have at least a good time, and not
They
and
already have that. They
uh,
already have that.
yeah, but they're trying to keep up with the ways of the world at the same time. Sometimes
They want to, they want to ruin what they have by going the way of the FIM or the FIA and make rules like that.
it's the way of the world, and they're trying to balance it. I think the sport is what it is. Don't change it to be what you want. If the sport dies because of what it is, I'd rather that happen than it turn into some, a
The,
hollow shell what it used to be.
the sport is growing because the way it is, not because the way they want it to be.
I think so, but not my series. I'm just racing in it. So
I get it. Well, I'm the guy on the outside that's allowed to frickin' say these things and to put that out there. I'm an opinion journalist, so they say.
yeah.
And
Oh,
opinion is
I've sat in the principal's office more than once. I've voiced my opinion more than once. I've seen more often than not the reactions. So I just wait for the right times to try to get a couple of good words in to make them think sometimes. But it's about all I can do.
well, they keep telling me I have no tact, and you know what? I'm going to just keep having no tact and saying what I feel when I feel it. And I've been racing in this industry for a long, long time. And if you want to have the DEI hire guy run your series and ruin it, hey, you just keep doing what you're doing. We'll just keep promoting the racers, and because they're still out there doing their thing and having a great time.
Yeah, yeah. No, a couple of series have gotten big trying to compete. You know, yeah, no, I just want to do cross country racing at the highest level, and that's GNCC right now, and um, you know, hopefully it doesn't turn into something it isn't. We'll see what happens.
I hope so. I hope not too. And anybody that watches this, if you want to comment about who this individual is so that they can see it and I can see it. And maybe this individual will have enough guts to call me and call me out and come on the show and voice their side of it so that we can discuss it like men are supposed to. If that's the case, if this individual is able to do that, I don't think they are. But they'll never come and confront or have a conversation with somebody like me because they're afraid. It's okay. It's okay. I love you, brother. I love your industry. I love the racing. For everybody out there, what an amazing first round. Gosh, I couldn't wait for the start of the season. And in a couple days, we get to do it again.